All right, hello Camelot, and welcome back to, this is going to be video number 2. Okay, so this is going to be video number 2, and on this video, we're going to be talking about hero gear. Now, if you remember in the last video, we met our 3 types of heroes: our infantry, our lancer, and our marksman. And if you remember, infantry is our defense, lancer, depending on who they are, most of them are going to be damage except for Patrick. And then we have our marksman, who is also going to be damage. Now, whenever you're working with them and you're applying their gear, you want to be able to use that gear to maximize what they are good at. And I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. And just a little bit of a self-plug. I don't know all of what I'm talking about, but I do know a little bit because your girl hit 34 in the total hero power. So I'm rank 34, and this is what I do that has got me there. And total hero power includes hero gear. So like I said, I'm still very new to this game. I don't know 100% what I'm talking about, but what I'm doing seems to be working. So we're going to go with that. Alrighty, okay, so welcome to my backpack here. So this is all of the gear that I currently have. Now, just as a heads up, I have more gear than is normally recommended. There's a reason for it. It might not be like the most recommended thing to do, but I do it anyways, and so here we are. So when we are talking about gear, this game makes it really easy to know what gear you should use when you know what you're looking at. So let's figure out what we're looking at here. All right, so there are 5 different gear categories, and they use the same color system that the game uses for everything else, for your troops, for the intel missions, for heroes. Everything follows the same colors, so you just need to follow the same colors. So first off, we have our gray gear. So you'll see here that it is our common gear. So this is your lowest level gear. Honestly, never equip this on your heroes. Other gear is so much better, it's not even worth upgrading. Use this to upgrade better gear. Green is gonna be our uncommon gear. So this is better than the gray gear that you first get as you're starting the exploration stuff. However, once again, this gear definitely not as good as all the other gear. Use it to level up gear. Don't really maximize it because it is not the best that we have. So next up here, we have our rare gear. So rare gear is good. It's better than the other 2. However, it's still not the best. Now, you will see that I do have some blue gear equipped on some heroes here in this section. Now, the reason I have that is because I personally kind of want to get gear on all of the purple or the rare and the mythic heroes, just so they have something on them, because I tend to use them for a lot of things. So the only reason I have the blue gear equipped on these people is because I don't have purple gear for them yet. So other than that, blue gear is the best if you don't have purple, but if you have purple, get rid of the blue stuff, use it to upgrade. Alrighty, okay, so purple is going to be our epic gear here. So this is the second best gear you can get in the game. Always switch out, get this epic gear onto those troops. This is the best that you can get just underneath mythic gear, because mythic gear is really hard to get, so you definitely want to switch out for all purple. Don't use purple to upgrade unless you literally have filled every hero slot with that purple gear. So you don't want to use this one for upgrades unless you literally have no other hero that you can put this kind of gear on. And last but not least, we have our mythic gear. So this is going to be your top tier gear. always switch this one out to go first. This one I selected here, you can see its power level is way higher because I've leveled it up quite a bit. So here's one that I haven't leveled up quite as much, but you can still see at just level 10, this thing's got 7,000 power on it for your hero. And so this one is definitely the one that you're going to want to get when it comes to putting gear on heroes. So remember in the last video how we were talking about some people are damage and some people are defense? This is where that comes into play the most when it comes to the hero gear. So here is Molly. She is one of my damage people. Now you're going to notice something interesting. I have all 4 pieces of gear equipped to Molly, right? But if you notice here, not all gear is leveled up the same. So if you notice here, I have my goggles as 55, my boots as 46, but my gloves and my belt are only level 15. Why would I do that? And if you look over here on Bahati, you're gonna see, guess what? The exact same thing. I've got my goggles and my boots. I've got those up to 45 apiece, but my gloves and my belt are only level 10 with him.
Right, Cassia.
And here with Natalia, she's my inventory because I'm not necessarily entirely free to play, but I'm not a pay to play person either. But I do have Natalia. And you're going to notice here, this is where things change. My goggles and my boots are lower, but my belt and my gloves are higher. Now this is because every piece of hero gear affects something different when it comes to your heroes. So if we look here on this gear, you're going to see this very first line right here. Now, for your goggles and your boots, the very first line on here is attack. This is the gear you want to really focus on upgrading if the hero you're working on is an attack hero. Now, when we move to the gloves, this is where you see the difference. Here, you're going to notice that the first line is defense. And so if you're working on a defensive hero, like our infantry, for example, you're going to want to focus on your gloves and your belt because both of those increase your defense. Now, overall, you do want to upgrade every single piece of gear, but you want to focus that XP on to the gear that's going to help that hero maximize what you need them to maximize. And that's how you get the best hero power. So looking at our top people here, whenever it comes to defense, the gear you're going to want to upgrade the most is going to be your belt and your gloves, because these are going to be that defensive items that are really going to boost the amount of time that your front line can stay in the front line. And when it comes to our marksmen here, our big old damage dealers, you want to focus on your goggles and your boots, because these guys are going to be the ones that maximize that damage output and really make these marksmen pack a punch. All right, my friends, so this one's a little bit of a longer video because I've tried to record this like 5 or 6 times and there's no way to fit all of this gear information into like a 5-minute video. So here we are with this one, a little bit longer. I do have a part 3 that I'm about to record as well that talks about what happens if you accidentally upgraded the wrong gear, because don't panic. Everything is fixable when it comes to this. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.